Good afternoon. It's Catherine Martin here for your local library working on phases of the moon. And we're going to understand what phases of the moon mean because we are going to make this wonderful banner. You're going to get to hang it up. And you're going to complete by painting the sequence of the phases that I have for you here. So what I'm going to first do is take you through phases of the moon. Then I'm going to take you through the kit that I made for you. And then we'll go over this banner. Okay, so let's start with the first picture that you have right here. We're going to start with, this is right before this would be a new moon. It would be 100% dark, or 50% really dark. Then we go into the waxing crescent, which is this shape, where you just see a little bit of a sliver. So the white part that you're going to paint is going to be the part that's lit up that you can see in the night sky. Then we're also going to give you some glitter, which you're going to glue with the glue that I gave you. The glitter is going to be in the glue, and you can paint that on. Okay, so then we go about 2 more days of the month, and we go to the next sort of waxing crescent. It gets a little bit thicker or deeper. And then here's another waxing crescent, but a little bit more of the light showing. And here we're getting right into a first quarter, where you see about half of the front side. And here also is sort of a first quarter. So every 3 days in real life, the moon's changing, and the light, the part that's white in this case, the light part is getting thicker throughout the month. And then here it gets a little bit thicker or wider. Okay, and this is going into the waxing gibbous. Waxing gibbous, a little bit more. Almost to full moon here, just a little piece is missing right here. And then we come down to the next row, full moon. Now these couple right here are showing, this is almost showing the complete full. And this is just another day later, almost showing the complete full, a little bit missing. And here is a complete full. Then we go to waning gibbous. Notice the part over here is missing, a little piece. Okay, then we come down to the last row of the banner. Okay, still waning gibbous, but a little bit more missing. This is getting ready to go into third quarter, but still almost a waning gibbous, but some more is missing. And then we go to third quarter, or last quarter, also known as. And then finally we go into a waning crescent. And then finally, not shown here, is going to be your new moon. The new moon is a dark moon, so you wouldn't be able to see it on this banner. Okay, so I'm going to show you, this is how it's going to be when it's completed. It's a great project. You can hang up. You could give it away as a present, or it's really fun to look at it and understand the different phases of the moon. So today what we're going to start with is your own banner. So I'll take that one away for now. And as you can see here, I drew them in for you. So you're going to just paint, open up the paint cup that I gave. You're going to need a paintbrush. Probably a small skinny one would be the best, so that you stay within the lines for yourself and that you're able to follow the pattern. Okay, so we're going to start, we'll go in order. The new moon's not shown, but you are going to have the waxing crescent to start. So with the paint, you're going to open up the paint for yourself, have everything ready for yourself. And I'm going to try to hold this up a little bit so that you can see it as I'm doing it. But of course that's going to be tough to paint. But I'll do the best I can for you. So I'm going to just lean it and paint it. Dip my brush in. I usually stay at the very tip of the brush and then just pat it on the edge. And then you can go around and fix it up to get the exact shape you like. Now, since this is a burlap material, it absorbs paint. And notice you can color in all the way up to the pencil marks so that they don't show anymore. Okay, so see how I'm filling it in? And I'm just following to the edge on both sides, making it thinner, 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 until finally it sort of fades away. And then I'm just going to fix the top a little. And make that a little bit. Okay. Now when you're happy with the way yours looks, you can stop and you can go on to your next one. So I just want to extend here a tiny drop. I do see a drop of pencil mark. If you see a little pencil mark, you might want to just fill that in. Look, that came out great. Okay, move on to your next one. So now we're going to be on waxing crescent still, but it's getting a little bit thicker, like the light part, or where the light is shining off. Remember that the moon acts as a mirror in space, and it reflects light, not on its own. It doesn't have its own energy at all, but it reflects light from Earth, light from sun especially is really where the key comes from. The energy that we see, it's acting sort of like a mirror, and it reflects that sunlight, and that's why from Earth we can see these phase changes, because remember, everything in space is moving. The sun moves, the Earth moves, and the moon moves. The moon is going around Earth, and it takes approximately just under a month to go all the way around Earth. And that's what gives us these phases that we see, or they really are changes in the sunlight reflection that we see here from Earth. Okay, so I'm going to show you this one in 1 second. Okay, and look at that one. Now see how the white paint is a little bit bigger or thicker? And I'm just going to extend the edges a little. When you extend the edges a tiny bit and make it like really thin at the edge, it gives it that sort of more of a moon kind of a feel. It makes it sharper, okay, because it gives you the idea that it's changing, which it is. Okay, let's go on. We're almost getting ready for first quarter, but we're still sort of in a very thick waxing crescent, which we're going to do now. Here we go. And we're going around. You can just dip the edge of your paintbrush. It holds nice paint at the tip. And then follow the pattern. As it gets skinnier at the top and the bottom, just lighten up on how firm you're pushing on the paintbrush. And then you'll get a nice stroke in. Now this is burlap, so burlap has little tiny fibers. And you'll see that as you're painting. So don't get frustrated with it. Go with it. It's an organic fiber, and the actual burlap, the fibers, you'll just paint them, and they will follow your strokes, your brush strokes. So eventually they'll flow in the same direction, and it gives it a nice feel, a nice look. When you're done, and it hangs well when you want to hang it up. It looks really good. I tried using other materials and this one worked the best. Okay, so look at that one. And again, I'm just extending it a tiny bit at the edges. Notice how it's getting thicker The light part is getting thicker. Okay, so now we're going into our first quarter. First quarter means that you're seeing about a quarter of the moon, of the part that's lit up. And in the night sky, it looks like it's just a little piece of a crescent type shape, like a little hook shape. And then we're just painting this in, giving it that nice shape. And follow the pattern that I gave you. And I'll show you again in 1 second. Now this is, when I drew them in, I used a pencil. So the pencil should disappear, you know, fade into the behind the white paint. So you'll get a nice feel for it. It should come out clean as far as, you know, when you're done with the painting. And you'll notice when you have this flat and you're painting it, you're going to definitely make sure you're on a surface that is able to accept paint, because it's going to pop through these little holes. So like, make sure you put down a newspaper or a piece of cardboard, or you're on a surface that's that you're okay to paint on. Because remember, the paint is going to go through the actual burlap. Okay, so first quarter again, but a little bit thicker. Okay, and notice it's getting wider, or more light. More light is filling in. So it's just past the first quarter. Remember, I said earlier that every 3 days the moon changes, but really every day, we can't notice it so much from Earth, but every day the moon is changing the light that it's accepting, or the position that it's in. So as it moves around Earth, what we see is going to be looking different. And then ancient people have named and called and used the moon. They use it for different ceremonies, or for planting, like a harvest, and crops in the old days, when they were farmers. Now we just look at the moon and we enjoy it, and we know, we can look through a telescope, we can see the different phases, and we really understand why this is happening from a science point of view. You know, we have discovered it all. We know, we've been there, and we know what's happening on the moon. Okay, so now see how much thicker, or it's getting a little bit wider. So it's still right past first quarter. And now we're getting into waxing gibbous. Waxing gibbous is like a very rounded shape, but yet a piece of the edge is still missing. So the next few moons that we're going to be doing, they're going to take a lot of paint, because they're getting into full. But that's okay, because that's really how it is in life, how the moon really looks. And it's wonderful to have this as an example of a science project. Hopefully you've done this in school, or you might even know a little bit about it. Or now you for sure will, because you'll have it hanging in your room. You could tell people what the names are. You could know them for yourself. And then if you do this in school this year, you will be ahead by knowing the names and knowing what the shapes look like. Okay, so this one is just missing a little piece on the edge here. It looks like a cookie that somebody took a bite out of. That's the easiest way to describe it. Okay, so it's getting more light. Okay, and the next one is even getting more light. Okay. Okay, so this is working out really well. Picking up a little bit of paint on my brush, painting it around. This one's getting, this one's going to be almost all painted white, except for the very, very edge.